Hey guys, Zane from the Infinite Jukebox here with another album review, and today I wanted to talk about the new Lexie record, The Happy Star. The Happy Star is the latest studio album from Chinese pop star Lexie Liu, one of the most interesting pop musicians to come out of China in recent years, to follow at least, as she's always had an incredible amount of potential from day one, but unfortunately she's never really lived up to that, or at least she wasn't until last year when her 2021 EP, Gone Gold, was actually pretty successful overall with a distinct creative style that, although occasionally conforming to more mainstream tendencies, overall felt pretty unique within the general pop landscape, whether it's in the East or otherwise. It's been 3 years since Liu's last full-length album, and now she's back in LP form to, at least when she was recording this, potentially manage to actually make something that felt as distinct as her prior EP, while managing to overshadow the prior albums that she's released that just didn't stick the landing as much as they were really intending to, and thankfully, she actually finally manages to live up to her full potential in full-length format, and it's great to hear. Now, the reason that I personally find Liu to actually be an interesting artist in terms of creative ability is because she takes a sound that people have been doing for years now at this point, technically decades in all honesty, but with this particular style of production, years at this point, and she manages to actually take it in a unique direction overall that feels distinctly hers, again, despite really being a part of a larger and much more mainstream style that is pretty generic from time to time. There is just a lot of really fantastic electropop and dance pop to be found on the entirety of The Happy Star, and if you're the kind of person that's looking for something that's just infectiously groovy from front to back, no matter whether it's a song about some sort of super upbeat, mindless topic or something a bit more lyrically downtrodden, this is the kind of record for you, absolutely, as it really manages to dodge all of the problems that her prior full-length albums have faced, as well as her earliest EPs, as this studio album doesn't feel like typical pop music, which her earlier releases absolutely did, and it ditches the somewhat misguided hip-hop and rap influences that were found on her earlier records, which, although I do feel like she could have managed to morph that into something slightly more successful or interesting, you might as well just get rid of it at this point. It hasn't worked for her in the past, and to see her go in a different direction, totally, for the most part at least, actually feels kind of refreshing, and it sets her off on a good pace for a now distinctly different part of her career. Lexie Liu also manages to make The Happy Star a experience that is uniquely hers because she feels honest, and honestly, that's kind of hard to come by in the realm of electro pop. With layers upon layers of super high quality production, it can be easy to lose the humanity of a performer or the instrumentals, and I'm not gonna lie, the instrumentals here don't really have a lot of life to them. Despite how colorful they may be, they feel robotic, as you would expect from electro pop in general. That's the intended purpose a lot of the time, to feel futuristic and at times almost mechanical without actually going into the realm of industrial or anything like that. But the thing that really keeps The Happy Star grounded as a record is just the fact that Lexie Liu feels pure, genuine, and honest throughout the entirety of the album. Once again, really just starting off at a place that kind of doesn't feel like it has a lot of work to kind of go with and to really go in any sort of interesting direction with, and she's managing to take it into a direction that feels strikingly honest compared to a wave of other electropop and synth-pop records that feel the exact opposite. Her transitions between using English and Mandarin Chinese are fantastic as well, as they feel completely natural in the context of the record and don't feel like desperate attempts to appeal to as many audiences as possible by trying to sort of pander towards this now popularized Western desire for a lot of Eastern pop music. It genuinely just feels like it's something that she wanted to do creatively, and she did it, and it works to her benefit, as it really does feel like she's just trying to blur the lines of linguistics and ultimately deliver something that manages to get its bittersweet emotive point across no matter what language you are native to or anything like that. You don't even need to know English or Mandarin Chinese to really appreciate the emotional qualities of The Happy Star as a record. And despite the fact that I just sort of criticized it a minute ago or so, the production here is actually really nice, I will admit. And I mean, hey, look, it's highly technical, it's highly layered, it's super futuristic and shiny and clean, and there's not an ounce of rawness in the instrumental factor of this record, but at the same time, that's how a lot of electropop goes, and that's sort of to be expected with a record such as this one. And as far as this particular sonic aesthetic goes, I actually quite enjoy this one. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that this is the most instrumentally or production related distinctive album in the world or anything like that. If you did not have Lexie Lu's vocal work here, you would most likely be left with a solid but mostly unremarkable instrumental electropop album, or if you replaced her with most any other performer, you would probably get the same result. That being said, the production complements her vocals well, and the instrumentals feel fitting for the kind of sound and vibe that she's going for overall, complementing the sort of bittersweet songwriting style that she really does take on for a lot of this record. And overall, I have to say that as far as the behind-the-scenes qualities of the Happy Star go, this one works really well. So overall, The Happy Star is a really strong album that really is just Lexie Lu proving that she can actually do some great stuff. I mean, she started off pretty rough overall, but over the years she's actually grown as an artist and matured artistically, and it's very apparent in her music, as this is her first full-length album that really just demonstrates how great of a musician and a performer she really can be, and I hope that she continues to take this traction and charge forward in the future with any future releases that she ends up putting out. So overall, I'm going to give this record 4 stars out of 5. With that being said, that's the end of this album review. I have been Zane from the Infinite Jukebox. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.